Our liver is a true workhorse, a silent hero within our bodies. It doesn't ache, it doesn't complain, and we often fail to give it the attention it deserves until it's almost too late. Yet, day in and day out, without respite, it diligently filters liters upon liters of our blood, meticulously neutralizing all sorts of toxins that enter us from the outside and are produced internally. It tirelessly aids in the digestion of fats we consume, participates in the intricate process of hormonal balance, maintaining equilibrium throughout our system. And it performs all of this silently, without a single hint of fatigue, without lunch breaks or days off. We, on the other hand, frequently treat it with considerable neglect. Eating on the go, hastily swallowing less than nutritious food, overeating at night when our bodies are preparing for sleep and rest, stress eating something sugary and unhealthy, washing it all down with far from innocuous coffee or some other fizzy drink. And to this list, we can readily add the uncontrolled use of medications, the sedentary lifestyle that has become the scourge of modern society, and the constant fatigue that has become our faithful companion. This paints a familiar picture of everyday life, in which our poor liver is forced to toil to the point of exhaustion. The liver endures all of this for years, stoically withstanding all our mistreatment, without uttering any complaints until its resources are depleted and it begins to falter. The most dangerous aspect of this situation is that its destruction occurs silently, slowly, and imperceptibly, without any obvious pain or striking symptoms. And when, finally, the first alarming signs appear, such as persistent weakness, unexplained heaviness after eating, sudden skin rashes, stubborn excess weight, agonizing sleep problems, or noticeable difficulties with concentration, is already a loud signal that our body has been working at the very limit of its capabilities for a very long time. You might feel generally okay. Your blood tests might even fall within the normal range. But that persistent low energy that clings to you no matter how much you rest, that uncomfortable feeling of heaviness that settles in after every meal, those sudden and unwelcome skin breakouts that mar your complexion, that stubborn extra weight that refuses to budge despite your efforts, those restless nights plagued by poor sleep, or those frustrating moments of mental fog and difficulty focusing. All of these seemingly disparate issues could very well be intricately linked to an overworked and overburdened liver. It's a sobering thought, but statistics reveal that in the majority of individuals, the liver is already functioning below its optimal capacity, and alarmingly, many of these people remain completely unaware of this silent struggle occurring within them. As the esteemed herbalist Dr. John Christopher, a true pioneer in the field of natural healing, wisely stated, the foundation of overall bodily health is unequivocally rooted in the well-being of the liver. This isn't merely a comforting adage. It's a fundamental biological truth that underpins our very existence. The condition of our liver intricately influences the health and vitality of our heart, the clarity and sharpness of our brain function, the strength and resilience of our immune system, the radiance and texture of our skin, and even the stability and positivity of our mood. And the truly encouraging news in all of this is that the liver possesses a remarkable and inherent ability to regenerate and heal itself. It simply requires us to cease hindering its natural processes and to provide it with gentle support through simple, natural means, devoid of any aggressive or harsh interventions. In the sections that follow, we will delve deeper into the specific factors that weaken and impair the liver's function, and, more importantly, we will explore practical and readily implementable steps you can take to gradually restore its strength, gently cleanse it of accumulated burdens, provide it with essential support, and effectively kickstart its innate regenerative capabilities. If you frequently find yourself grappling with a persistent lack of energy, if you aspire to achieve a significant improvement in your overall sense of well-being and vitality, then embarking on a journey to support and heal your liver is an excellent place to begin. The primary and often underestimated adversary of a healthy liver is the insidious phenomenon of hidden intoxication. The liver stands as the body's chief detoxification organ, acting as a critical filter for virtually everything that enters our system. The food we consume, the water we drink, the air we breathe, the medications we ingest, the hormones that regulate our bodily functions, and even the myriad chemical compounds we encounter in our environment and the stress hormones that surge through us in response to both internal and external pressures. This isn't merely a metaphorical comparison. The liver quite literally neutralizes and processes an astounding array of substances that enter our bodies on a daily basis. It operates tirelessly in a continuous, around-the-clock manner, without ever voicing a complaint or signaling distress, until the situation within becomes critically dire. Yet, it's crucial to remember that every biological system, no matter how resilient, possesses inherent limits. Modern human beings exist in an environment characterized by a constant state of subtle poisoning, a phenomenon often referred to as hidden intoxication. This insidious condition doesn't typically arise from a single, acute poisoning event, but rather from the cumulative effect of a persistent and often unnoticed burden. Everything we ingest, everything we inhale, and even everything we experience on an emotional level, in one way or another, exerts an influence on our liver. The myriad chemical additives lurking in our processed foods, the excessive amounts of refined sugar and unhealthy fats prevalent in modern diets, the regular consumption of alcoholic beverages, the necessary but sometimes taxing burden of pharmaceutical medications, the ever-present pollutants in our air, the chemicals found in our everyday household products, and the pervasive and chronic stress that has become an almost unavoidable aspect of contemporary life. All of these factors combine to create a significant overall toxic load on our system. The liver, valiantly working to keep pace, often finds itself overwhelmed and unable to efficiently process and eliminate all of these substances in a timely manner. As a consequence, these toxins begin to circulate throughout the bloodstream, disrupting delicate metabolic processes, triggering inflammatory responses, and accelerating the wear and tear on our precious cells. It is at this stage that individuals begin to experience the gradual and often subtle consequences of this internal imbalance. The persistent and debilitating fatigue that no amount of rest seems to alleviate, the pervasive feeling of sluggishness that weighs you down, the frustrating lapses in memory and concentration, the unwelcome outbreaks of skin blemishes, the uncomfortable sensation of heaviness and bloating in the abdomen, the increased irritability and mood swings, the unexplained fluctuations in weight, and the restless nights plagued by insomnia. All of these seemingly unrelated symptoms can very well be manifestations of an overworked and congested liver. However, the insidious nature of liver dysfunction lies in the fact that, more often than not, individuals fail to connect these seemingly disparate symptoms to a potential impairment in the function of this vital organ, primarily because the liver, in its stoic silence, rarely registers pain and remains quiet until its capacity is severely compromised. Dr. Christopher, with his profound understanding of the body's interconnectedness, consistently emphasized that restoring the health of the organism is an exercise in futility if one continues to subject it to the very substances that are undermining its well-being. This stands as the first and foremost rule in the realm of holistic health. No amount of supplementary remedies or therapeutic interventions will prove truly effective if the daily onslaught of intoxicating substances persists. Therefore, the journey towards genuine liver recovery invariably commences not with the introduction of new and often expensive supplements, but rather with the conscious and dedicated cessation of exposure to the harmful factors that are actively contributing to its distress. Dr. Christopher, in his wisdom, often drew attention to the particularly destructive impact of certain ubiquitous substances, frequently highlighting the detrimental effects of refined sugar, alcoholic beverages, and the plethora of commercially produced sauces laden with artificial ingredients. Refined sugar, he explained, wreaks havoc on the delicate balance of the gut microbiome, creating an environment that promotes the accumulation of fat within the liver, a condition known as fatty liver disease. Alcohol, even when consumed in seemingly moderate amounts, disrupts the intricate functions of liver cells and impairs essential energy metabolism. Commercially prepared sauces, often brimming with hidden additives, typically contain ingredients such as artificial vinegars, monosodium glutamate, MSG, and various chemical preservatives, all of which the liver perceives as toxic compounds, forcing it to expend significant energy on their detoxification and elimination. By consciously and diligently eliminating these three primary sources of burden, refined sugar, alcoholic beverages, and processed commercial sauces, we afford the liver its initial and arguably most crucial opportunity to begin the process of self-repair and regeneration. One of the fundamental approaches to supporting liver health, as often advocated by Dr. Christopher, involves a holistic strategy aimed at alleviating the overall workload of the entire digestive system. This encompasses embracing a diet centered around simple, whole, and unprocessed foods, prepared gently through methods such as steaming or boiling, ensuring regular and adequate intake of warm fluids throughout the day, with particular emphasis on the morning hours, and consciously avoiding the consumption of heavy and difficult-to-digest meals late in the evening. These seemingly straightforward dietary adjustments create an internal environment that is conducive to the liver's natural ability to begin the process of self-restoration. There's no need for extreme measures, no requirement for restrictive and potentially harmful fasting regimens. The focus is simply on establishing an internal milieu in which the body's innate mechanisms of regeneration can be effectively activated and supported. Compelling data emerging from reputable nutritional science institutions corroborate this approach, demonstrating that even the short-term elimination of refined sugars and heavily processed food products leads to a measurable reduction in the activity of key liver enzymes, a clear indicator of decreased inflammation and reduced overall burden on the organ. Anecdotal evidence from private clinical practices further reinforces these findings, with numerous accounts of individuals experiencing significant improvements through similar dietary modifications. Consider the example of a middle-aged woman who had been struggling with persistent fatigue, troubling skin problems, and a recurring sensation of heaviness in her right flank. By completely eliminating refined sugars, alcoholic beverages, and commercially processed foods from her diet, and by incorporating the simple practice of drinking warm water infused with rosehip tea in the mornings, coupled with a shift towards a predominantly simple, home-prepared diet, she experienced remarkable results within a few short weeks. Her laboratory test results showed significant improvement. Her bothersome external symptoms gradually disappeared, her sleep patterns normalized, and a renewed sense of energy and vitality returned. It is precisely with this fundamental step, a conscious decision to cease bombarding the body with harmful substances, that genuine and lasting recovery begins. It's not about quick-fix pills or overly restrictive detox programs. It's about cultivating an awareness of the body's inherent capacity for healing and consciously choosing to stop impeding that process. Everything else, the gradual return of health and vitality, will naturally follow. If you are committed to supporting your own well-being and empowering others with knowledge about these simple yet profoundly effective steps towards liver restoration, please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up. And if you have personal experiences, insightful questions, or valuable thoughts to share on this vital topic, please do not hesitate to leave a comment below. Your engagement not only enriches the conversation, but also provides invaluable support and inspiration to others on their own health journeys, making this crucial information more accessible to all. The liver often suffers silently in the presence of insidious congestion. One of the less obvious yet critically significant factors contributing to the deterioration of liver health is the often overlooked issue of stagnation. The sluggish flow of bile, the impeded circulation of blood, and the restricted movement of lymphatic fluid. Anything within the body that becomes stagnant and fails to circulate freely can contribute to a buildup of toxins, and the liver, as an organ intimately connected to the biliary system, is particularly vulnerable to the consequences of impaired fluid dynamics within the organism. And here, the crucial role of movement cannot be overstated. The modern lifestyle, characterized by prolonged periods of sedentary behavior, often spent in a seated position, directly contributes to this internal stagnation. This lack of physical activity impedes and diminishes the vital blood supply to the internal organs, including the liver, and significantly disrupts the natural and essential outflow of bile. Over time, with prolonged hypodynamia, reduced physical activity, bile, which is essential for fat digestion and toxin elimination, becomes thick, viscous, and prone to stagnation, leading to the formation of sludge and even the development of gallstones. This internal congestion places an additional and significant burden on the liver, exacerbating inflammatory processes, further impairing its detoxification capabilities, and hindering the efficient digestion of food, particularly fats. Dr. Christopher, with his deep understanding of the body's physiological processes, frequently emphasized the critical link between movement and detoxification, stating unequivocally, "Without movement, there will be no purification." It is precisely physical activity that initiates and supports the body's natural cleansing mechanisms. He consistently recommended incorporating daily physical activity into one's routine, emphasizing the importance of engaging in movement within reasonable limits, not necessarily for achieving athletic feats, but rather for the gentle massage it provides to the internal organs, including the liver, thereby promoting healthy circulation and lymphatic drainage. Simple yet effective activities such as gentle bending and stretching exercises, torso twists, mindful breathing exercises that engage the diaphragm, and regular walking can make a profound difference. The key is to activate the diaphragm, which plays a crucial role in lymphatic flow and venous return, to improve blood flow to the liver and to stimulate the natural and unimpeded flow of bile. In clinical practice, numerous observations have consistently demonstrated the positive impact of even moderate physical activity on individuals experiencing symptoms associated with bile stagnation, such as persistent heaviness in the right upper abdomen and bothersome flatulence. Often, within just a few days of incorporating regular, gentle exercise, patients report a significant alleviation of these uncomfortable symptoms. Simple practices, such as engaging in a brief morning stretching routine, consciously avoiding prolonged sitting immediately after meals, and incorporating active breaks throughout the workday can initiate powerful physiological processes that cannot be replicated by simply taking a pill. Consider the case of a 62-year-old man who had been diagnosed with chronic cholestasis, impaired bile flow, and exhibited early signs of fatty liver disease. Through a dedicated regimen of regular diaphragmatic breathing exercises, gentle torso bends and stretches, and light walking after each meal, he experienced a complete resolution of the persistent sensation of heaviness in his abdomen. His bothersome belching subsided, his bowel movements normalized, and his overall sense of well-being significantly improved, all without the need for any pharmaceutical interventions, solely through the power of gentle physical stimulation. Dr. Christopher firmly believed that movement is an inherent and natural form of medicine, a vital remedy that we have, to a large extent, forgotten to consistently apply in our modern, increasingly sedentary lives. And he emphasized that if an individual is willing to make even modest changes to their lifestyle, particularly at the level of increasing their daily physical activity, it represents a powerful and significant step towards the restoration of liver health and the overall purification of the entire organism. Water and warmth stand as two of the simplest yet most profound allies in the journey of liver restoration. The liver, by its very nature, functions within a fluid environment to effectively carry out its myriad essential tasks, filtering the blood, producing bile, and breaking down and eliminating toxins. It requires an adequate supply of water. And yet, paradoxically, the majority of individuals in modern society exist in a state of chronic, often subclinical dehydration, frequently opting for beverages such as coffee, tea, and sugary sodas while neglecting the fundamental need for plain, clean, and often overlooked warm water. In the absence of sufficient hydration, bile, the vital fluid necessary for fat digestion and toxin removal, becomes thick and sluggish, hindering its flow and impairing its function. Furthermore, the liver cells themselves lose their optimal elasticity, compromising efficient intracellular exchange and overall liver function. Dr. Christopher, with his deep understanding of the body's fundamental needs, repeatedly emphasized that water is far more than just a simple liquid. It is an informational and energetic medium, a vital component without which the restoration of any organ, including the liver, is rendered significantly more challenging. He frequently advised initiating the day with the simple yet powerful practice of consuming 1 or 2 glasses of warm water upon waking. This gentle act serves to awaken the internal organs, stimulate the flow of bile that has accumulated overnight, and gently kickstart the body's metabolic processes. This seemingly small and effortless action can significantly reduce the burden of morning detoxification and lessen the load on the liver, which has been actively working throughout the night to process and eliminate metabolic waste products. Equally important in supporting liver health is the application of gentle warmth. The liver, by its physiological nature, thrives in a warm environment. When the right side of the body, particularly the area over the liver, or the abdomen in general, experiences prolonged chilling, its functional capacity can be noticeably diminished. This is particularly relevant for individuals who frequently experience persistent fatigue, digestive issues, and a general feeling of being cold or having poor circulation. Dr. Christopher often recommended the use of dry heat, such as heating pads, warm compresses, or gentle abdominal wraps, especially in the evening hours as the body prepares for rest and regeneration. The application of gentle warmth to the liver area can improve local blood flow, relax any spasmed blood vessels, and help to gently initiate the liver's natural regenerative processes. Consider the experience of one of Dr. Christopher's patients, a 53-year-old woman who presented with complaints of chronic fatigue, dull and lifeless skin, and persistent issues with food digestion. For a period of 2 weeks, she diligently followed his recommendation of applying dry heat to the area over her liver each night before bed and consistently drank warm water throughout the day. Within just a few days, she reported a noticeable improvement in her sleep quality. The uncomfortable sensation of heaviness after meals began to subside, and after 3 weeks, the condition of her skin showed a remarkable improvement, all achieved without any aggressive or invasive interventions, simply by restoring the natural and optimal conditions for the liver to function effectively. The profound truth, as Dr. Christopher often illuminated, is that when we consciously create the right internal environment for the body, it possesses an inherent capacity to begin the process of self-healing and restoration. Clean water and gentle warmth are not mere secondary details in the pursuit of health. They form the very foundation upon which any effective healing journey should be built. If you have found the information presented in this material to be valuable and insightful, please take a moment to show your appreciation by giving it a thumbs up and sharing your thoughts and experiences in the comment section below. Your feedback is invaluable, as it not only helps us to understand your needs better, but also empowers us to create even more beneficial and relevant content in the future, ultimately contributing to a greater understanding of these vital health principles. The realm of nutrition offers a wealth of natural allies in the quest to support and restore liver health. While many individuals mistakenly believe that achieving liver detoxification necessitates either expensive pharmaceutical preparations or overly restrictive and often unsustainable dietary regimens, the remarkable truth, as Dr. Christopher often emphasized, is that the liver possesses an extraordinary capacity for self-repair and regeneration, provided that we cease impeding its natural processes and supply it with the essential building blocks it requires through our daily nourishment. Indeed, nutrition stands as a cornerstone of liver health, and the key lies not in adhering to complex and convoluted dietary schemes, but rather in consciously incorporating simple, whole, and readily available natural foods into our daily eating patterns, starting today. One of the primary nutritional strategies for supporting liver health, as highlighted by Dr. Christopher, involves prioritizing foods that actively stimulate the production and promote the efficient flow of bile. This is of paramount importance because stagnant bile, unable to perform its vital function of emulsifying fats and carrying away metabolic waste products, can become toxic and actually contribute to damage within the liver itself. Certain readily available natural remedies and foods are particularly effective in supporting healthy bile flow. The simple yet powerful practice of drinking warm water with a squeeze of fresh lemon juice first thing in the morning can act as a gentle cholagogue, stimulating bile production and aiding in its release. Similarly, the consumption of rosehip tea, rich in beneficial compounds, can also contribute to healthy bile flow. Furthermore, incorporating specific vegetables such as beets, carrots, and cruciferous vegetables like cabbage into your regular diet can significantly activate liver function and improve overall digestion. Dr. Christopher often referred to beets as a natural liver stimulant and recommended their consumption in both cooked form and as a warm beet broth, particularly in the evening hours, to gently support liver detoxification processes during sleep. A second crucial nutritional strategy focuses on providing the liver with the necessary building blocks for the protection and regeneration of its delicate cells. In this regard, foods rich in potent antioxidants and compounds that possess anti-inflammatory properties take center stage. Cold-pressed olive oil, flaxseed oil, a variety of nuts, particularly walnuts, and an abundance of green leafy vegetables, along with the vibrant spice turmeric, all play a vital role in supporting healthy liver cell membranes, neutralizing harmful free radicals that can damage liver tissue, and creating an internal environment conducive to the repair and regeneration of liver tissues. Consider a practical example. A 48-year-old man who presented with elevated liver enzyme levels and early indicators of fatty liver disease. By consciously making the decision to eliminate fried foods and commercially processed convenience foods from his diet, and transitioning to a simple dietary regimen centered around gently cooked vegetables, steamed and stewed, whole grains, nourishing soups, and a moderate intake of high-quality plant-based oils, he experienced remarkable improvements within a relatively short period. Within just 1 month, his previously elevated liver enzyme levels returned to the normal range, and his overall sense of well-being significantly improved. Importantly, he reported a noticeable feeling of lightness and increased energy, with the persistent sensations of heaviness and sluggishness gradually dissipating. Dr. Christopher consistently emphasized that supporting liver health does not necessitate enduring grueling fasts or adhering to extreme and unsustainable dietary fads. Rather, the focus should be on making conscious choices to eliminate harmful substances from the diet, while simultaneously incorporating nourishing and easily digestible whole foods, prepared with care, and establishing a consistent and regular eating pattern. The liver, he explained, thrives on rhythm and regularity. It functions most efficiently and recovers best when our eating habits also become rhythmic, characterized by mindful portion sizes, the avoidance of late-night snacking that disrupts the liver's nighttime restorative processes, and a conscious commitment to prioritizing the quality and nutritional value of the foods we consume. The profound truth, as Dr. Christopher often reiterated, is that what we choose to eat each and every day either contributes to the healing and vitality of our bodies or actively participates in their gradual decline and deterioration. And if your sincere desire is to facilitate the natural recovery of your liver, the most effective approach involves providing it with a consistent supply of gentle, nourishing foods while diligently removing the excessive burden of harmful substances. In this supportive environment, the body's innate regenerative capabilities will naturally be activated. One of the most perilous mistakes individuals often make in their earnest attempts to restore liver health is the misguided striving to aggressively cleanse it. When someone receives news of liver-related issues, whether it be elevated liver enzyme levels on a blood test, a persistent feeling of heaviness or discomfort in the upper abdomen, bothersome bloating, or chronic fatigue, their immediate reaction is often to seek out a quick and drastic liver cleanse. Particularly popular in this context are aggressive and often ill-advised methods, such as consuming large quantities of lemon juice and olive oil, using strong laxatives like magnesium sulfate, or resorting to potent pharmaceutical choleretics, bile-promoting drugs. The underlying, and often erroneous, assumption is that the more radical the approach, the more rapid and dramatic the perceived benefits will be. However, as Dr. Christopher wisely cautioned, it is precisely these aggressive interventions that can inadvertently trigger a cascade of negative consequences and potentially worsen the very condition one is attempting to alleviate. The fundamental problem with the majority of these harsh, cleansing procedures lies in their tendency to disrupt the delicate and natural rhythm of the body's physiological processes. The liver, by its inherent nature, is an organ that operates in a slow, steady, and rhythmic manner. Its recovery and regeneration, therefore, should ideally be a gentle and gradual process, respecting this natural pace. When subjected to a sudden and forceful expulsion of bile without adequate preparation, the body can experience a range of adverse reactions, including painful spasms, the rapid release of accumulated toxins into the bloodstream, a potentially dangerous disruption of electrolyte balance, and a paradoxical outcome where the individual experiences not a sense of cleansing and revitalization, but rather profound weakness, dizziness, and, in some cases, an exacerbation of pre-existing chronic health conditions. Dr. Christopher consistently emphasized that the appropriate starting point for any liver support protocol is not aggressive detoxification, but rather the gentle and consistent restoration of a healthy internal environment. This encompasses prioritizing adequate hydration through the consumption of clean water, incorporating regular and moderate physical movement into daily routines, adopting a nourishing and balanced dietary pattern, and establishing a consistent and supportive daily rhythm that promotes rest and repair. Only when the body itself begins to naturally shift toward a state of improved self-regulation and gentle self-cleansing can one cautiously consider incorporating supportive measures such as specific herbs, mild cholagogues, and mindful breathing practices. And even then, these should be introduced gradually and with careful attention to the body's responses, never as an initial aggressive assault. Dr. Christopher often illustrated this principle with a relatable analogy. Consider an automobile engine that has been running on contaminated fuel. The logical first step in restoring its performance is not to immediately attempt to forcefully clean the fuel filter. Rather, the initial and crucial action is to cease introducing the contaminated fuel, replace the engine oil with a clean lubricant, and only then, once the internal environment has been improved, consider more targeted cleaning procedures. Anecdotal evidence from clinical observations further underscores the validity of this gentle approach. Consider the case of a 57-year-old woman who, in her attempt to cleanse her liver based on a popular internet protocol, unfortunately ended up hospitalized with an acute attack of cholecystitis, inflammation of the gallbladder. Her body, unprepared for such a drastic and sudden intervention, reacted negatively. However, several weeks later, after her initial recovery, she began to diligently follow a gentler and more holistic system that prioritized adequate water intake, the application of soothing warmth to the liver area, a balanced and nourishing diet, and regular, moderate physical activity. Only after approximately 2 months of adhering to this supportive regimen did she cautiously begin to incorporate mild herbal preparations known to support liver function. The results were significant and sustained. A consistent improvement in her overall well-being, a normalization of her sleep patterns, the complete resolution of her previous sensations of heaviness and abdominal pain, and a return of her liver function blood tests to within the normal range. The most crucial takeaway from this wisdom, as consistently imparted by Dr. Christopher, is that the liver thrives and recovers not from forceful pressure or aggressive interventions, but rather from the establishment of optimal internal conditions that support its innate healing capabilities. By consciously providing the body with the fundamental resources it needs and removing the obstacles that hinder its function, we empower it to naturally activate its own remarkable resources for cleansing and regeneration, all without the added stress and potential harm of overly aggressive measures. And now, as a practical bonus to support your journey towards liver health, here is a simple yet effective exercise that can help to gently activate both the liver and the lymphatic system, a practice frequently recommended by Dr. Christopher. One of the most accessible and beneficial techniques is a gentle vibrational massage performed first thing in the morning while still lying in bed. This simple practice requires literally just 2 minutes of gently tapping with a loosely closed fist along the area of your right lower rib cage, where the liver is primarily located, followed by a soft stroking motion. This gentle stimulation helps to facilitate the flow of bile, particularly beneficial when performed after consuming a glass of warm water on an empty stomach. This exercise, though taking less than a minute to perform, can yield results comparable to more involved procedures when practiced consistently. If you consciously integrate even a portion of these simple yet profound recommendations into your daily routine, you will likely begin to notice tangible positive changes, an increase in your overall energy levels, a lighter and more comfortable feeling after meals, an improvement in the quality of your sleep, and a greater sense of mental clarity and focus. But perhaps most importantly, you will be actively ceasing to hinder your liver from performing the vital functions it is inherently designed to do, to tirelessly work towards the restoration and maintenance of your overall health and well-being. So, dear friends, if you are committed to supporting your own health and empowering others with this invaluable knowledge about these simple yet powerful steps towards liver recovery, please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up. And if you have personal experiences, insightful questions, or valuable thoughts to share on this vital topic, please do not hesitate to leave a comment below. Your engagement not only enriches the conversation, but also provides invaluable support and inspiration to others on their own health journeys, making this crucial information more accessible to all.